Yo, you tuned in to Guerilla Cross Radio.
Yo, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Guerilla Cross Radio. Streaming live on GorillaCross.com, the Guerilla Cross app. We're here live. I'm your host, Quan59, and we have a lot of sports to talk to you about today right here on the show. And I'm happy to have, once again, man, Hollywood Huff has a logo on his shirt. Yo, dog.
What up?
What's good, man?
Oh, man, just trying to make it happen.
Trying to make what happen?
Business.
That's like when you talk
work.
to people and they're like, another day in paradise. Just living the dream.
Living the dream.
Listen, I go to the same car wash pretty much 5 days a week, the same convenience store. And they say the same thing every time. I don't even ask them how they're doing anymore. I don't want to hear living the dream or another day in paradise.
Nah.
I don't want to hear it.
No, I'm actually trying to make stuff happen. Like I've been
Trying to make money moves?
we're
All right.
making real life.
You don't
money
dance
moves.
no more?
Like, yeah. I'm sick of shucking and jiving
Wow.
for the man.
Wow. Got my man Death Star Dave. There was a photo of young Death Star Dave, it looked like, in a...
Yeah, I told him that was not a photo of young me because it wasn't fat enough.
Gosh. And I feel like you've had a beard since you were 9.
I could have. I could have had it pretty early.
Yeah.
Wasn't allowed to have it at school, but it hurt shaving every day. It's a hard life.
And Josh Williams is not here today. He's on the freeway. Project Neon. Project Neon. He's still on the freeway, so he might show up. Probably not.
He's the only person still getting caught in Project Neon traffic.
Only person.
Only person.
That project's going to be over. He's still going to use
Man,
that
Project
as an excuse.
Neon, man. They called me just in time. It's like, you were late. Nah, man, I was just in time. 407 is late.
Yo, we're here for the next hour and a half to 2 hours, or whenever we get done talking, which sometimes is 3 hours, but we'll finish before that. But there are a lot of sports to talk about. Big weekend. The NBA, man, there's about 20 games left for most teams in the NBA right now. NHL hockey, same thing, man, is going down to the wire with a lot of these teams trying to make the playoffs, trying to stay in the playoff hunt. So we're going to jump into the NBA. We got some NFL Combine to talk about as well. There's some fast people, bro.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that as well. And give our little recap on UFC 235. John Jones is back.
He didn't even have to be back for that.
I'm just saying, he's dominant. So we're going to talk about his dominance in this sport. And hopefully he could stay clean and keep this up for a while, because they definitely need him to be the face of that franchise right now.
Yeah.
But jumping into the NBA first, we're going to start with my team so we can get it over with. It's not looking good for the Los Angeles Lakers.
No, it is not. I can't help but be so happy.
Wow.
Oh, my
fine.
Lord.
It's
so
fine.
fun.
And you know the problem, I'm not as mad as I normally would be, because there's a player on the team that I'm not a huge fan of. And I think most people know who that is.
LeBron James?
LeBron James.
Wow.
I love this so much. He was so happy. Just championship banners were coming down early enough. He hated LeBron, then he loved LeBron, but realistically,
Have I ever
all
really
you
loved
all
LeBron?
hate LeBron. All you Laker fans hate LeBron.
Have I ever
love
really
it so
loved
much.
LeBron?
Hey,
No, you didn't really love him.
Yeah.
Because none of you really loved him. You all hated him. And now
And
guess
I never
what?
hated him.
You got to live with him.
Here's the thing. I never
'Cause he
hated
ain't
him. I
going ever.
definitely troll like I hate him, but I don't hate him. I know he's a great player. My thing is, he's not a great leader in this league. And you could tell by his body language. You could tell by his post-conference interviews. The Milwaukee game on Friday, 14 seconds left, he leaves the court. Pretty much saying, like, don't associate me with that losing team.
Well, Milwaukee's a better team.
Laker,
And he would have had to deal with that.
Well, the problem is they were up by 2. Rondo threw a horrible pass to LeBron. Went out of bounds.
Remind me, all you guys that said Rondo was a good 1-year pickup. Because he was going to train. He was gonna train Lonzo for some reason, even though he's been a terrible teammate at many stops. And well,
I don't think he's been a terrible teammate.
Can you give me his stat line against Phoenix the other day? That Phoenix loss? Didn't he go 1 for 10? Didn't he go 1 for 10 though?
And this is why, like, I don't. Granted, LeBron as the best player on this team has to take the brunt and most of the blame, but I can't give it all to him
He
because
takes no blame.
when
What are
you-
you talking
no,
about?
I'm
This guy refuses to take blame anywhere he's at.
I'm not saying
when the team's failing.
he's going to take responsibility. I'm saying we as fans and people who watch sports know that part of these losses should go on him. And with that being
Especially
said,
when he
though,
misses free throws at the end of every single game that's
right.
close.
So I'm not talking
Every
about
game.
I'm not talking about what the amount of responsibility
And
he's taking.
listen, his stat line is amazing almost every game. But in the fourth quarter, he fades away. He doesn't take over.
And
He doesn't do what superstars do in the fourth quarter.
Can I raise one point about his stat line? How about his defensive stats?
Oh, his defense is garbage, and that's why the Lakers are where they're at.
And that's what I'm saying. When you take all those things, you add in a player like Rondo, who hasn't been known to be friendly with anybody or make friends throughout his career.
Hey, he can play a lot of Connect Four.
Okay.
The world's best Connect Four player, evidently.
And so you take that, and then you put in, and this is something that LeBron kind of hinted and mentioned at, and I do agree with him on this point. You have a lot of young players on the Lakers, and do they even take winning and playing basketball as serious as they should? Are they taking the opportunity? So
I mean, they're a young team. They're a young team, like you said, right? Young players. So
of course,
your job is the best quote unquote best basketball player of all time. Whose job is it to get them in a winning form? That's LeBron James' job as a leader. And he's not doing that.
I'm putting 60% of the blame on LeBron James. The rest, everybody's got to do their part. Everybody.
Brandon Ingram was pretty much told he's not wanted on the team, and he's been falling ever since.
Well.
Hey,
he's been playing well.
He's been matching the numbers LeBron scores every game.
Brandon Ingram is proven to be probably about the best version of Brandon Ingram right now. I mean, it's certainly not from any LeBron leadership, that's for sure, but he's developing. Oh, my God. I'm going to be so happy when the Lakers aren't in the playoffs. It's going to make me so happy.
I am too, because guess what? This team's not going to win anything right now. So now we're in trying for Zion talks.
So do you think
in Los Angeles?
Before we go to that,
you think the league won't set that up?
No. One question.
No.
Do you
they
think
set that up for Cleveland 3 years in a row? You think they're not going to set out?
They're a little too far away.
Do you think it's possible?
It's a bouncing ball, Dave.
That
That
LeBron
ping pong ball can bounce anywhere.
Do you think it's possible that LeBron has realized, like you said, this team ain't winning nothing in the playoffs? They're probably a first round exit if they do
LeBron's quit already.
Exactly.
Do you think he actually
he's quit because of that? Because he knows, look, this team ain't
I don't know
going nowhere.
if it's because of that. It's his fault that they're not there, because we could talk about like the 16, 17 games that he missed. That's when they faltered.
Yeah.
They were still only 2 games out of the playoffs,
right?
Maybe even less when he came back.
Right.
They have played worse since he's been back.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he does all of his usual passive-aggressive LeBron things. He undermines the coaching staff. He disrespects all the other players. But he does it in this way where he never actually does it.
Yeah.
It all just floats out there randomly through particular people who always have a direct line to his people. So, I mean, listen, he's always been a great player, so he's gotten away with all this stuff. But it's funny now because now it's the Lakers where people, if they're the worst team in the league, you have a ton of people who watch and see everything that they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when the Clippers were somewhat of a contender and the Lakers were terrible, people still
Still
cared way
more
more
Laker
about the Lakers.
news, yeah.
There were Laker
Yeah.
games on all the time on national TV.
Well, what's the most talked about team in the NBA? It's the Lakers still on sports radio, ESPN. They're still like the first thing they talk about because of LeBron and because of the Lakers.
Well, you also see the two biggest markets. Like, what have the Knicks done in most of our lives that have necessitated all the talk about the Knicks that's happened over the years? And sure enough, we hear about every single thing the Knicks do, but it's like that's just a garbage franchise.
Yeah, the Knicks haven't won. Knicks have never done, to me, anything worth talking about.
And listen, LeBron's a great player. I'm not saying he's not a great player. I did put up something. Is he the top 10 in the NBA right now? Maybe. But there's a lot of players.
Well, here's the thing is he shouldn't be first or second team All-NBA.
No, he won't be.
So, I mean, if you count those people as the 10 best, now granted, a lot of that is just by positions because of the way they slot it. But if he's first or second team All-NBA, that's ridiculous. Because if you look at it, I mean, your first team forwards should be Giannis and Paul George. Your second team forwards should be KD, and then you have a number of other guys that, I mean, Kawhi Leonard is definitely above LeBron this year.
Yeah.
There's a number of other guys that you would say so too, possibly. So it's just he's not gonna be on any of the All-NBA. He'll be on the third team, but LeBron James is gonna be on the third team.
Yeah. And here's the only scenario. Lakers have 19 games left. They're 4.5 behind San Antonio for the 8th spot, who San Antonio's not been playing great either. They play the Clippers tonight, who they're 5 games back from.
That's a
Lakers
killer.
have to go on a 10-game winning streak to even have a chance at this. And the way they've been playing right now, they lost to Phoenix, the worst team in the league. That's a game. Listen, that Milwaukee game was great. They really should have won that game. They had the lead at the end.
They lost to a better team.
They lost to a better team, but it was still at home. Lakers could have got that game, but you're not disappointed. It's like, okay, they have the best record in the league for a reason.
Right.
But when you go the next night to Phoenix and don't show up at all, and that's been Lakers' problems. They'll play good against good teams, but then they'll play down against bad teams, and they've lost a lot to bad teams. So there's some good teams they're playing in these next 19 games, and there's some bad teams they're playing.
And
none of those are guaranteed wins at all. Lakers have to go on a 10-game winning streak to have a chance.
And that is
making the playoffs
an example
right now.
of very bad leadership. Not just leadership on the floor, but leadership from coaching. When players play at a high level against high-level teams, and then they play at a very low level against low-level teams, granted, there will be times that happens. Like, everyone does it. But when you are losing a game you need to win against a low-level team, that's a problem.
Okay, but Steve, I couldn't disagree with you more. Here's why. Those guys, all these guys, played hard and played good defense for Luke Walton last year. Now that LeBron James comes in, which means your coach is completely undermined.
Maybe
he's not
it.
LeBron's coach.
Well, then
and LeBron has undermined every part of that. Your problem, to me, the problem,
and every part of every coach he's ever had.
I think that Luke Walton, he's going to be blessed to leave because the second he leaves, I think he's actually a good coach. He's going to go someplace else, and they're going to be happy to have him, and he's going to do well, especially if it's a young team. Because look what he was doing. He had this Laker team on the track to be going to the playoffs before LeBron gets there, and he's also had to deal with every one of these guys be like, well, you're completely expendable because LeBron wants somebody else. And now you also have LeBron undermining everything behind the scenes. Your problem's not Luke Walton. Your problem's the organization. What good moves has this organization made?
And this is what I'm saying when I say leadership. So is it LeBron? Is LeBron the leader? Because we've talked about this before where I say, look, you can't let the kids always run the house. So at some point in Cleveland, it made sense. He was taking him to championships. At this point, LeBron ain't taking you to the championship.
But your problem
well,
is
you're in a different conference.
Your problem also is LeBron isn't one of the kids. LeBron feels that he's daddy. So
I mean,
he feels that he's daddy running the house. He's been a bad GM. Look at what he saddled Cleveland with. That overpay of Tristan Thompson,
trust me,
paying J.R. Smith $13 million a year.
And somebody needs to come out the office and have a sit down with LeBron and let him know at this point.
Who's that going to be? Who exists that's going to be?
Anybody.
You gonna bring his dad, Delroy Lindo, in there for that? Nobody can tell LeBron anything. And, I mean, granted, he's earned a fair portion of that, but LeBron's not listening to anybody. Also,
if he didn't when he was young, he's not doing it when he's ready to retire in the next 3 years. living it up. I saw a commercial on CBS last night, some new TV show produced by LeBron James. I'm like, bro, do your real job first.
Do you know how many things? I mean, we all see all of this. How many projects he has in production? He's in the studio with 2 Chainz till like 3 a.m. the day before games and stuff.
Hey, trade him for AD?
They can't. That's impossible. You cannot trade him because you can't trade him. Unfortunately, he wields way too much power for that to even be a possibility. And New Orleans would never take the deal because he wouldn't show up.
He definitely doesn't have a no trade clause, though.
That's fine.
Yeah.
There's a 0.0% chance they're trading LeBron James.
They're not trading him. They should. They're not going to.
Honestly, if I was the other team, I would never take it because LeBron is probably more apt to just say, "I'll retire."
Well, it depends on where it was.
So is there nobody in these organizations, in any organization, that would man up? If let's say it wasn't the Lakers,
No.
pick any other team and they have LeBron James and they're having this problem. Is there
Hold on.
nobody in the league who would be like, you know
I'll
what?
give you one.
We don't need this problem because that's what this is right now, is a problem.
I'll give you one. Greg Popovich. That's the only one. And Greg Popovich, I think, is the only coach that LeBron would listen to in the league.
My favorite coach.
And right now, at this stage of his career, I don't think so. Pau Gasol just left. You don't see that happening with a team that's still trying to make.
Wasn't getting minutes.
But listen, but still trying to make the playoffs. This is a team still trying to make the playoffs. You don't see this happen in San Antonio, though. That's what I'm talking about. You don't see the Kawhi Leonard thing happen in San Antonio. I really believe this Popovich's last year. I think he's had it. I think it's to the point where he knows he's kind of losing this next generation where they're very entitled and you can't tell them much. I think Popovich is retiring.
I think that part might be overrated because, I mean, I don't think Kawhi was the problem. I think Uncle Dennis was the problem.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at this
that's
team,
Kawhi being the problem for letting somebody like that be the problem.
Yeah, well, you can't control that, though. He's family.
Right.
You can.
All I'm saying is Pop has this team in the playoffs, and that team is not a playoff team.
They have 2 All-Stars.
If they had DeJounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan was not an All-Star this year.
He's been playing good. I mean, he's in the West now. And that's the thing. When people either come to the West, they don't make the All-Star team. If they go to the East, D'Angelo Russell, they make an All-Star team. So that's why they need to start picking the best 24. But go ahead.
I would agree with that. But I'm just saying that I don't know that Pop has slipped or lost control. But listen, I think what we'll see really, the real determining factor, I think, for Pop, he's not retiring before he coaches that Olympic team. I just don't see that happening. So he's got at least another season.
Yeah.
Maybe after that, I mean, all bets are off. Pop's been around for a while. And listen, Pop doesn't have to prove anything to anybody.
Not at all.
Pop is very likely, if he's not the best coach ever, I mean, he's on the very short list. He's on the Mount Rushmore, without question.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. This stage of his career, I don't think he would want to have to deal with a LeBron type person to even have to battle that because I don't think LeBron respects him even enough to not be LeBron.
I think he's the one. I think he's the only one. I think
if it would have been a younger LeBron, yeah, but at this stage of LeBron's career, everything he's doing outside of basketball, he really thinks he runs the world right now. He's not just thinking he runs the NBA. He's running entertainment. This is the mind he has. He's turning in the Kanye type mogul, not the Trump Kanye, but you know where he wants to do and dabble in every single thing, make money doing everything, become a billionaire, own a NBA franchise.
Track, that's his track.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's on it.
He'll do it.
He really actually has nothing to prove on the basketball court, which I think has been proven considering the fact that he doesn't even put that much effort and gets numbers.
If you want the GOAT conversation, you still have a lot to prove. I'm sorry.
But here's the problem. He's not the GOAT, but guess what? His accumulation of numbers by the time he's done, there's a lot of people that are going to call him that.
I mean, he could
no matter
technically pass Kareem if he stays in long enough.
Yeah, if he wants to. And the question is how good his son really turns out to be. If his son turns out to
might not even be an NBA player.
He might not. But if he turns out to be, which I think is a long shot, if he turns out to be an NBA player, then I think he's going to stay.
Yeah.
He's going to stay to play with his son.
Play 1 year.
Yeah.
Wherever his son ends up, he will play a year with his kid if his kid is good enough.
Yeah.
And if his kid is on the outskirts of good enough, he's still going to get in the league because they're going to take 1 year of him.
Right.
Now, I want to talk real quick because Lakers played New Orleans last week and barely beat them as Anthony Davis sat the last quarter and a half, pretty much, of this game. Pelicans are technically still in the playoff race.
Not really.
They are, and they have been for a while. They're 16 games behind the Warriors, so that means they're 6.5 behind San Antonio.
With like 18, 19 games left, depending on which team
But
you
I'm
are.
saying they've been sitting Anthony Davis, giving him these 20 minutes a game for a few weeks now. So they still could have made a playoff run.
Yeah.
They've still been playing good. What is up with this Anthony Davis situation? It looks like a mess. They're going to end up trading him. I don't even know why they're playing him at all. It's an embarrassment to me, to the team, and to the NBA for even allowing this stuff to happen.
They forced their hand in playing him because I think they really did want to sit him, because for them, their best situation is their worst possible record and draft pick, because he's leaving regardless.
Right.
Notice he said all the 29 teams are on the list. The one team that's not on the list, New Orleans.
The team he's on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted to sit him, but then the league starts threatening fines, and it's like, well, all these other guys, it's like they should have just cooked up an injury. This whole thing has been mismanaged so bad. It's yet another thing that shows that Rich Paul and all these guys, all their power is LeBron. The second that LeBron's out, all this power goes away. It goes away overnight. So he also, that's the other thing, is he has to prop up Clutch Sports all the time too. Because realistically, these guys are idiots. Rich Paul's an idiot. The whole way the New Orleans thing was handled was beyond stupid.
Yeah.
It was beyond stupid. It was a horrible play at it. It was a play to try to make it so to go to the Lakers. And the Pelicans actually, for once, were like, we have no reason to do this. Why don't we wait for the offseason when we could see what everybody has to offer us?
Yeah,
We could see what Boston deal is going to be. Now, I don't think Boston's going to happen because I don't think Kyrie's going to be there. But realistically, it's just you had no reason to do it right now. And right now, it's time for those fake injuries. It's time for like, oh, he's got, well.
But the problem is it's not even fake injuries. It's, okay, you're just not. They announced he's not playing the fourth quarter at the beginning of the game. That's what's the embarrassment. It's like, if you want to say he's injured and he's not going to play today, or he's coming back from an injury, so he's on a minutes restriction, just to blatantly sit him in the fourth quarter of a game you could win.
But hey, you have to pay money for certain statistical things out there in the NBA. You have to pay money for all NBA teams. He's not going to be on any of those teams this year. He's one of the best players in the league, but they're figuring like, why are we giving him any extra?
Yeah.
Why are we giving him leverage in his next contract? It's like the best thing for us is for him to not play.
Yeah.
Period.
It's just a dumb situation, though.
It's a horrible situation, but that's because his management screwed it up. Plain and simple. There's a lot of ways to do this that work. They picked the way that doesn't work at all. They tried to flex muscle and be like, we got LeBron behind us, so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the rest of the league, especially New Orleans, was like, not really. I mean, the rest, that their ownership doesn't even care. It's like, we're football guys. Is he under contract? Okay, then he can shut up.
Yeah.
You know how football people think about players. So that's the wrong team to do that with, because it's football guys say, like, screw him. I mean, it's football guys. They might have dropped the N-word in there.
I'm pretty sure it came in there a few times.
Mickey Loomis might have dropped one.
Man, and the Golden State Warriors have been struggling a little bit too. They've lost some games on the road to some sorry teams. I saw a Warriors fan going crazy.
Why?
Talking about my Warriors are not going to win anything this year. It's like, bro, this is a regular season still.
And they'll sweep the playoffs.
They still, after
first
losing
place.
4 out of the last 10 games, still have the best record in the West by a game and a half.
They do. And
they're going to keep the best record in the West. They just signed Andrew Bogut, which isn't a big deal, but that gives them some experience, in case Cousins gets hurt. We got our dude that knows our system.
And he's dirty as can be. But the other thing with the Warriors is they're not sweating a regular season, and they're not sweating the Nuggets. Listen, I like the Nuggets. They're a fun team to watch. I hate to say it about them. That's a regular season team right there.
Yeah.
When you go 11 deep, you're a regular season team. Because all of a sudden, when those rotations tighten up in the playoffs, and it's like, oh, we have to keep like our best players on the floor all the time. But it's like, this guy is our best player, but on some nights, this guy is our best player. Sometimes our eighth guy is our best player. It's like, it doesn't quite work out in the playoffs.
Jokic is the best player every
Well, Jokic is their best player, but what I'm saying is they have a lot of guys that come through for them on a lot of different nights at a vaguely similar level. So they have a lot of, it's like you have a lot of good players, but they don't have a near all-star outside of Jokic. I mean, unless you really just love Jamal Murray.
I don't.
So I don't fear them for any situation in the playoffs. I hope the Thunder can stay in that 3rd seed. I hope Paul George can come back soon because I would love to see them in the 2nd round of the playoffs.
Isn't it crazy no matter where Portland's at in the standings, no one ever talks about them because they just know what they do in the playoffs?
But that's not their fault, though. And Damian Lillard, once again, Damian Lillard does not get enough love. Why do we talk about Kyrie Irving over Damian Lillard? Damian Lillard's a better player.
Because Damian has done nothing when they get to the playoffs. Kyrie's at least went to the finals, even though he had LeBron.
He got it with LeBron.
That's fine, but he still did it, and he still did stuff in the finals. I mean, him and LeBron dominated in those last 3 games.
Yeah, but he's
against the Warriors. That's crazy stats. So anytime you're viewable for 2 extra months in the year, almost every year, of course your name's going to be bigger. I like them both. I'm not sure who's better. He's obviously more stable.
Dame Lillard is better, and Dame Lillard wants. And instead of talking about being a leader, because he doesn't, Dame Lillard is a leader.
Well, Kyrie's a mess right now.
Kyrie talks about being a leader all the time. Dame
As
Lillard
he throws
doesn't
his
talk
team
about
under
it.
the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess who he's turned into? A baby LeBron.
Baby LeBron.
Interesting.
He is turned
He's
into
just
a
not
baby
as good, though.
LeBron.
He's just not as good.
He's really a weird guy.
I mean,
his
he thinks the
interviews,
earth is flat.
like he tries to talk super proper, but it's like you're just not making any sense, and you're throwing everybody under the bus. You try to tell the media it's a stupid question when it's just a normal question.
He's fake smart. That's all it is. He's like the guy that watched a few
Welcome
YouTube
to
videos.
2019, where most 20-somethings are fake smart.
He watched a few YouTube videos so he can tell you all about how the world works.
Call that fake woke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's real sleep, not fake woke.
Yeah.
So what's up with these Celtics? They really can't move up or down. Well, they can move up if they start winning, but I don't see them moving up. They really won't move down out of the 5 spot. They could possibly flip-flop with Philly or Indiana. But what's up with them, man? I mean, they've won 1 game since the All-Star break. They look horrible.
Well, I think we all know the answer. They hate Kyrie. They hate Kyrie. And while Kyrie raises your ceiling for a playoff perspective, Kyrie's not a leader. Kyrie thinks he's a leader, and Kyrie will tell everybody he's a leader. But, I mean, they made the Eastern Conference Finals and went to a 7th game without him last year.
So most likely, what I'm thinking right now is Boston's not even going to offer him a contract.
Oh, I think they'll offer him one. I think it's going to be low enough that he'll pass on it.
Yeah.
Because they have to offer him just based on the fact that they gave up some level of assets to get him. So you can't just say, oh, we don't want you in the world of the modern NBA. But they'll offer him a contract. They're not going to offer him a max. There's no way.
And then this diminishes and takes Anthony Davis out because you're not going to trade half your team. You're not going to trade Tatum and all your young assets and draft picks for a team that doesn't have Kyrie now, right?
Correct. But I think, why would you anyway now? I mean, I think the Rich Paul camp played their hand. They've shown you where they want to go. And everybody has talked about the Boston thing, and he's trying to recover that. But realistically, I don't think Danny Ainge is stupid. I think everything he's done as a GM proves that he's not dumb. I mean, he's not perfect with his moves, but he makes a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
And he's not going to sit there and give up every asset they have for a guy that doesn't want to be there.
Nah.
Plain and simple. It's just because it's just like, even if they say, oh, even if Rich Paul's like, oh, yeah, he's going to resign with you. Why would you believe that? Go back to LeBron. Enjoy fighting for a playoff spot in the West where you're definitely not the best point guard. Enjoy not starting in the All-Star game. Because that's what your future is. Either that or go to the Knicks with Kevin Durant, who's as unhappy as Kyrie seems to be all the time. And it's like, you think you put those two guys together and all of a sudden they're just going to be happy-go-lucky people?
Nah.
I mean, really?
I do want to see them go to New York, though. I want to see New York good again.
Fair enough, but think about Kevin Durant's situation. What happier situation could you have? You have no pressure on you. you are one of the best players in the world, but you live on open
but
shots.
listen, you talk about Kyrie being fake smart. Kevin Durant is fake mad.
Yes,
I really
I
think
agree.
he's fake mad most of the time.
100%.
It's something he's trying to portray, which I think it's backfired, and he's still trying to stick to it. I mean, this grown man has had multiple Twitter burner accounts. He's fake mad. I just
Of course he's fake mad because he
it's
has
just
no
a
reason
bad
to be
acting
real
job.
mad.
Exactly.
But it's like when you think about it, it's like, who has a better situation than Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
You got to go join a great team where even though you're one of the absolute best players in the world and ever, by the way, you get open shots.
Yeah.
There's no other team in the history of the world where Kevin Durant would be getting open shots.
You look at this as a point where Kevin Durant is a first or second option on a team where he could easily take the role and be a third or fourth option, and he's on cruise control. There's never a point where Kevin Durant is not cruising with the Golden State Warriors.
I wouldn't say fourth option. That means you're putting Draymond ahead of him.
Well, the
Who?
point I'm
Draymond.
Oh, there we go.
Draymond. The point I'm making is there are other players, especially right now, who you could say, and you can call the timeout, bring him into the huddle, and say, Curry, save me.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson, save me. Boogie Cousins, save me. Oh, Kevin Durant, save me. Like, there are plenty of situations on this team where Kevin Durant can slide into a slot and not be noticed and put up 20 to 30 points every single game and just do it without barely breaking a sweat.
But he's the real save me guy for them.
Of
Because the thing
course,
is,
yeah,
when
he's the
anything
number one
breaks
save me
down,
guy, yeah,
you
of
can
course.
just be like, well, we have Kevin Durant to go one-on-one against anybody in the world.
Right, exactly. So that's the thing where they don't necessarily like. I was looking at like these numbers and looking at Boogie, seeing is Boogie really good overall. The Warriors score less points with Boogie on the floor, but Boogie out of 16 starts, they're still 13-3, and he's got 6 double-doubles. So you still add on basically an all-star player who's still recovering from an injury.
80% maybe.
Yeah, I mean you're looking at a situation where any player in the world who wants to win a ring, this is the ideal situation for you, no matter what position you want to play. Because nobody on that team is so selfish that they have to be the number one guy.
But the problem is, I think that there's a large level for him that he knows, no matter how great he is, and he's developing, his career is going to show that he is one of the absolute best of all time. The Warriors will never be his team. Ever.
No.
That is Steph Curry's team for now and for always. They will never love you like they love Steph. Ever.
I think in the end, when people look back and you talk about legacy, one of the things that, in a sense, will make you the GOAT or put you in the conversation of best players of all time is when you win these championships, did you win it with your team? Was that your team you led? Was that your team that was built around you? Little things like that, I think, stick with some of these players. And I think KD will have that chip on his shoulder where OKC could have legit been his team. They were up 3-1 in the championship game and then lost. Didn't make it to the finals. They lost a few years before that to LeBron in the finals. I mean,
They were just too young
He didn't
at that point.
Oh, yeah, of course. But he couldn't quite do it on his team. So these, in my mind, these championships and finals MVPs that he have, they'll all have a little asterisk by them as, yeah, he got it, but I don't know. Like, it's almost like Iguodala getting the finals MVP when LeBron almost put a triple-double on him for the series. It's like, how do you give this guy the MVP?
Because his team lost.
It's because he slowed him down enough.
Because he slowed him down enough to not have a complete triple-double. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you got it, but man, I don't know if we really respect it. So,
I mean, I respect it because they wouldn't have won the championships if he didn't do what he did.
what did he do? Well,
About Kevin Durant?
Not Kevin Durant. Not Kevin Durant.
Talking about Kevin Durant,
I'm thinking
bro.
about Iguodala. No. Yeah. Kevin
No,
Durant.
Iguodala, it did enough to prevent them losing to a LeBron team without James and without Irving and without Love,
Right.
because that series went 6 games and LeBron didn't have either of those two.
Exactly.
So they weren't quite ready yet.
Yeah.
But it's, once again, they'll never love him like they love Steph
Nah.
because they're going to love Steph forever.
Where
He's the
Yeah,
guy.
I mean, he was drafted there. He
is KD on the list of love in that team? Is he number 4?
No.
After
He's
Clay.
third. He's after Clay.
After Clay, Curry, Clay, KD.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
But the thing is,
If Draymond left, nobody would care.
no, Draymond's done enough now where people are like, Draymond could probably leave it at some point. Especially since when you're undersized and hugely effort based and you aren't always in the best shape, your career doesn't age so well. And you're already starting to see that because part of what made them work so well was that he always was able to hit those. I mean, he wasn't a great shooter, but he was able to hit those open shots.
He doesn't
doesn't
hit
hit
big
those open shots anymore.
Yeah. What about Iguodala? I mean, he comes off the bench, but I feel like he's loved.
He's loved because he subsumed an all-star career and he realized he wasn't what he was and he found his role.
Where's he on the love list? Number 4? Behind KD?
No, they love Draymond more than him.
Ooh.
I think, but that's
right.
that's close.
That's a close one.
You could talk me out of that one real quick.
And Iguodala doesn't get a lot of minutes these days. He's
Nah.
not doing what he used to. But he definitely has respect on that team. The
For
franchise. Like Dave said, he was an all-star when they picked him up. So he definitely gave that up to be a role player, which I wish a lot more people in the NBA would do. So you have to respect that.
Yeah.
Where do you think the East goes from here? Milwaukee I can't believe they've stayed on top this long. And I really like how they play.
Really?
Yeah.
I
I think I probably picked them 4th in the East when the season started.
But we were talking about coaching earlier. I mean, this is a perfect coaching job. The way they've set up that team.
By a coach that should have never been available.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, realistically, though, Budenholzer was going to be stuck in Atlanta with a team that doesn't have the personnel or the desire to win right now. He's not the right person for building that team from nothing. So I think that
it's just amazing they had 4 All-Stars like 4 years ago on Atlanta.
Yeah, that's also called the East. But I think that when you look at that team now, they're so well built around Giannis. You basically took, like, you know how the Lakers built terribly around LeBron?
Yeah.
Where it's like you need to surround LeBron with shooters. What did the Bucks do? The Bucks surrounded Giannis with shooters at every position, including coming off the bench.
And they got a really good point guard.
And then they make
year.
True, but they also make a smart deal and also not only they get a good point guard, but Eric Bledsoe went back to playing like Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah.
He showed that he could have been.
He
the
hated Phoenix.
Clearly,
he hated playing there.
Yeah, I don't blame him. But when you look at it, they also make a smart move with Mirotic, who they got for really next to nothing, who was perfect for that team, just perfect. I mean, you look at that team up and down. They're so well set up, and then you have the absolute superstar to make everything go. So you can't fully focus on Giannis because it's just like, okay, he can just kick out to any one of the other 4 guys on the floor who can all hit open threes.
Yeah.
Right.
And somebody's open. Because if you let him go, I mean, from a step inside the free throw line, he's dunking on anybody in the league.
Yeah.
From a step behind
It's
the free
like-
throw line.
Well, it's like we're thinking about him against forwards. Like you almost need to start thinking about him against dominant centers because around the bucket, you can't do anything with him.
Yeah.
He got bigger and stronger. He still is fast. And there's just, when he makes that Euro step, like the legit Euro step that's not a travel, there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So I think they're well set up. I think Toronto, because in the playoffs, Kawhi will be playing every game, and you'll see their best lineup all the time. That's another well set up team. And I think what we've seen is we thought it was going to be a 4-team race, but Indiana refuses to drop without Oladipo, which is insane. That's an outrageously good coaching job because they're putting an effort every night. But I don't see any way that Boston or Philly is beating either of those 2 teams. I just don't. They don't have enough together. I mean, you have bad apples in both teams. You have Kyrie on one, you have Jimmy Butler on the other. You have guys that really winning, especially for Kyrie. Kyrie has a ring where he won the game when he hit the game-winning shot in Game 7. So guess what? You can't tell him anything.
Yeah, and the whole thing was he's supposed to lead this team and lead Boston. Boston could legit go out in the first round.
What?
And if that happens, I want to talk because everyone has talked about how great of a coach Brad Stevens is. And I know he's a good coach. I just think people throw that great title on people way too early. Like, he came into the NBA. When he came into the NBA, everyone's like, why are they hiring him? Like, okay, cool. And then he did really good, right? But if you're a great coach, you know how to manage this team, right? So that's why I don't think coaching matters as much as people necessarily say sometimes on teams, especially teams with really good players, because it's the player's job to determine if they want to play or not. Boston right now is in 5th. They would be playing Philly in the first round of the playoffs, which they've had had their way with Philly last year. But I just don't see them making it out of the first round if things stand the way they are. Indiana's in 3rd, which if Nate McMillan is not the coach of the year, then you need to shut down the NBA.
Well, that's the funny thing is, for all we're talking about the West being better, which it clearly is, I mean, 3 of the 4 of your coach of the year candidates, because Mike Malone is definitely one in Denver. The other 3 are Nate McMillan, Nick Nurse, and Budenholzer in the East. Because realistically, when you look at those teams, it's just they've completely changed. The top of the East is definitely better than the top of the West, though. I'm not sure if that's true. I mean, I don't believe in Denver in the playoffs. I think that as bad as they look like they're playing right now, Oklahoma City is a team that anybody would not like to play, but also Paul George has been sitting the last few games.
You have Golden State, Denver, OKC, and Portland, and Rockets top 5.
And the Rockets are right there.
You have Milwaukee, Toronto, Indiana, Philly, and Boston in the top 5. I don't see Portland being able to beat any of those teams. I don't really see, not any. Definitely not the top 2. So I feel like Milwaukee and Toronto are the only teams that can compete with Golden State.
Well, that's what it looks as far as right now, unless one of those 2 teams with more talent, frankly, in Boston and Philadelphia flips the switch in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're getting the Warriors against either Milwaukee or Toronto.
Yeah.
It just seems to be that way.
If you want to chime in, hit us up 702-608-3259 and give us your take on this. We're talking NBA right now on the show. Where do you guys think this is going to end up? Right now we have Charlotte half a game out of the playoffs, right behind Orlando. Brooklyn is in 7th. They've lost a few recently, but they've still been having a above.
It's another coach doing a good job too, Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah. So they've been doing good. Detroit, they might make the playoffs. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs, but they might make the playoffs. So, the East looks a lot better than, and a lot of players went over there. So you're talking about maybe Kevin Durant and Kyrie, go to New York. That makes the East that much better next year. So I think we're seeing, I wouldn't say a power shift, but I would definitely say we're seeing more balance in the NBA with these things happening, and with LeBron leaving Cleveland and stuff like that. There's a lot more room in the East. For someone to step up and become the Eastern Conference champion. Obviously, Cleveland's not going to be there no matter what Tristan said at the beginning of the year. Or
how's that working out for him?
He's fine. He's smashing every friend that his sisters.
Tristan personally is doing great.
Yeah.
No. Even though his wife has more money than him, child support's coming due.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Fight for custody, Tristan.
Yeah, he ain't gonna win.
He's not.
I guarantee her lawyers are better than his lawyers, and she's got way more money to burn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they know some lawyers. I think.
I'm pretty sure they're connected with.
I think that family's helped people get off before. So
maybe her real dad OJ will step in and
wow. Man. Chloe Simpson.
Prove it ain't true.
Chloe Simpson.
Prove it ain't true.
All right, how do you think the West is going to wind up? We got San Antonio and Clippers and 7 and 8 right now. Can Sacramento, Lakers, or even Minnesota is right there? Can they sneak in there?
God, I hope Sacramento does, because they fear nobody and they are so fun to watch. They're so far ahead of schedule. They got a lot of good young players, and that team is just Like when you watch them play the Warriors, they're legitimately not afraid
They're going to play
at all.
Yeah.
So it's like if they sneak in, yeah, it'll probably be a sweep, but I'll guarantee you all 4 of those games will be tight and they will go down to the wire. Even the Warriors players like Kevin Durant have said it about like these guys, they're no joke right now. De'Aaron Fox has turned into a player that I thought he was going to be coming out of college. You know,
And it's good seeing a franchise like this that has been struggling so long. I mean, I think 03 might have been their last good team when they went to the
yeah, I mean, it's tough after, you know, the referees completely rob you from finals appearances. But,
wow.
I mean, it's true.
No,
Hey.
it's not.
Okay.
Wouldn't be the first
Play to
time.
win the game.
Okay. Well, it's tough to win when you're when it's 5 on 8.
Stop fouling.
Okay, fouling.
Stop fouling.
All right, James Harden. Heard enough of you.
All right. But anyway, what I'm saying is that's a team that it's nice to see that Bagley didn't get hurt as bad as it looked like initially in
he's
that
only
game
out
the other day.
A few games.
So yeah, he's out for like a week or two, but they can make things work even without him. And Bagley's turned into as good of a version of himself as we could have hoped for. And they have a lot of solid players,
Yeah.
a lot of solid young players, and they play with energy.
Here's
you don't wanna play
here's
them,
my
is what I'm
problem with
saying.
here's my problem with the NBA right now, and we have said it. People have said it with the Lakers. You know, their young players suck, but then it's too much to give up for Anthony Davis. Are we throwing these young players under the bus? Because I look at Buddy Hield on Sacramento. They thought you know what, he's not that good. Let's trade him. When and obviously they were trading him for DeMarcus Cousins, but they gave up on a young player because he's not as good as we thought he would be.
Not as
Are
but he's not that he wasn't that young. He was a little older.
Yeah, but are we expecting so much out of these young rookies and second-year players that we're not giving them a chance to grow into this league anymore?
Absolutely.
It's like if you're not great right away like Luka and like even Trae Young, like Trae Young's balling right now.
Yeah.
He had a bad start.
Yeah, but if you're not great right away, we're throwing you under the bus and saying your career is a bust.
And
Are we doing that way too quick now in this generation of the NBA?
I definitely think that that's happening way too fast. Like nobody, and it's part of it is social media. Part of it is just the media. Everything is fast right now.
Because Brandon Ingram was done and he's horrible and he's not that good.
And he's been done 6 times now.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
And he's
everything
21
is too
years
fast.
old.
But there's also the opposite of that, which I think is a trickle down effect, is, and we kind of been talking about this. There are not that many good leaders in the NBA anymore. And maybe they're all old and retired and we're getting what's left. But the league has been about me so much.
You know why? Because
It's
people are making millions before they even learn life.
But
it,
see,
it could be 101 reasons, but
I don't think it's that. I think the lack of good leaders is what we see now, which is the AAU type system where guys go on teams. They don't have to lead teams of
Right.
players less than them. It's like you get all the best players together.
that's
Like you look at like Dwight Howard on his AAU teams was like Josh Smith, and I can't remember who the third guy was, but it's
Yeah.
like when you're thinking about those guys that's an AAU team front line,
right.
what are you going to do about
Yeah.
that?
I mean, and you have a lot of those situations where the young players aren't given enough time to develop, and they also don't have that person where like you saw like the Jason Tatum working out with Kobe. Like I don't know how much that cost Jason Tatum. I don't know if Kobe was just like, this
It
kid's
hasn't
got
helped
it.
him.
I'm gonna give it.
All
You know
due
what I mean?
respect to
But-
your boy Kobe, but that has not helped him.
But this is the thing is like you
Was that
don't
Tatum's fault?
you
or
don't
Kobe's fault, or is that
my point
where
is
he's at?
you don't see
with-
that
with
hardly
Kyrie.
ever. You hardly see anybody leading. You hardly see any of the older guys leading and teaching the younger guys. And look, this is how you get better. This is how you shoot a better three. I remember like Jason Kidd was talking to other players on his team. This was years ago. I can't remember what team it was. And he was showing them like, this is when you shoot three, spread your fingers. Don't have them close together. Bend your knees. Shoot. Push your elbow in like this, and helping guys on his team get better.
If,
and
if
you don't
you gotta
see too
teach
many
NBA players that though, that's
well, but the
It's
problem
not-
is
it's
you
not
have
just-
to.
It's not just
Who's
teaching
teaching them?
but it's like, look, if they don't know it, they don't know it. If I'm on a team, whether I just got traded to this team or it's new guys coming to my team.
well, you know what
and I
sucks?
see
There's
them doing something
millionaires
wrong,
that don't know
like,
how to
come
play
on.
the game that they're getting paid to play. That's what's sad. There's
It's
millionaires
true.
that don't even know how to play defense in this league right now.
and we see it all
It's
the
sad.
time, and that's
These
my
guys
point.
are making millions, and that's why
there's
I
nobody
think
there.
the biggest problem is everyone's getting so much money now that they don't have to work for anything.
I think that's part of it, but I think
I think that's a
realistically,
big
it's
part
like,
of it.
when do they get to learn? It's like now you have to have a coach.
Right.
The problem is for a team,
Nobody wants to be coached.
Well, but it's like for a young team, you have to have a developmental coach and then the coach that can teach those guys after they develop how to win.
Right.
So those aren't the same coach anymore. So
And
it's
when
like you have the winning coach and the coach that can develop young players, but it's such a different job because you look at it. They're in the AAU system. Like, we didn't know how good Zion was till he showed up in his first year of college because all you saw was him dunking on guys that looked like me.
Yeah, half his size.
And a lot smaller than you, Dave.
Yeah.
I wish I saw highlights of him dunking on somebody your size.
Right.
But that's the thing. It's like now we've seen him. It's like, okay, no, Zion's for real.
Yeah, he's dunking on real dudes.
Right.
But now it's like, realistically, how many people are athletically anywhere near his level? All those guys play in the league right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So you don't get to find out anything. And the other thing is just he has a lot of good instincts and he's ahead of the curve that way. But that guy's a rare breed. He has real instincts. A lot of these guys have super talent, but don't have all the instincts that go along with it.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, it's like everybody has a lot of criticism to Jason Tatum. But remember, Jason Tatum went third in that draft.
Right.
Markelle Fultz, how's that going?
Is he even
Lonzo
playing in
Ball.
Orlando right now?
He's in Orlando. Who knows? He's and then Lonzo Ball. How's that going all the time? It's real inconsistent. I'm just saying it's not disrespecting any of these young guys, but it's just they're the.
But
fact
that's the
that
thing.
you
We're
now
getting
have
mad.
to
We're
be
getting
taught-
mad. But we're getting mad at 21-year-olds for being inconsistent. Tatum has been very inconsistent this year, and people have not been talking about that because everyone that loved him so much last year wants to hang on to that and be like, oh, let's not even talk about Tatum because we don't want to seem like we're wrong.
But that's because he played so well in the playoffs. He played so well in the
But
playoffs.
they were talking about that even when he got drafted and when he played in the summer league. Like all you guys were hyping this guy up from the start, and he's a very good player. And I think he'll be a lot better once Kyrie's gone, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because realistically, he has the talent level. When you look at it, you could say that, I mean, I know everybody loves to compare him to Kuzma. I think the better comparison is to Ingram. Because when Ingram gets the reps of being like the lead guy, it looks really good.
Yeah.
When Ingram's not the lead guy, what are you doing with him? He doesn't make a lot of sense. Tatum never gets to be the lead guy on his team. So it's like...
But I think the problem with that, too, even when Kyrie's out, they're not letting him be the lead guy. And I think that's the mistake that the great Brad Stevens is making.
They have too many players.
Is everybody wants to be the leader now. They had success last year. They had players like Rozier play out of his mind, play above expectations. You got somebody like Marcus Smart who knows he's not the best player, but will always want some type of light shown on him. You have Horford, who is probably their best player.
He's their most valuable player.
Yeah, who's quiet, who does his job, who is very consistent all the time. You have Jaylen Brown, he's still good. He's going to be a good young player. But you got these people kind of fighting with who's the second guy? Who's going to be the best guy on this team?
But don't forget, you're also paying Gordon Hayward $30 million to recover from an injury, from a disgusting injury. Yeah. So that's also a factor. So they keep having to bring Gordon Hayward out there, who Brad Stevens has a natural alignment with.
Him, yeah.
But it's like Gordon Hayward's not there yet. I mean, it took Paul George a little while after a horrific injury too. And Paul George has more natural talent than Gordon Hayward does.
And that's what I want to say to all the Hayward haters is Paul George looked done the next 2 years. He wasn't the same at all. And now, and I'm not saying Hayward in 3 years is going to be what Paul George is right now because not many people ever will be. But
Thank you.
It takes – I love Paul George. And I can pull up videos and tapes from last year saying I wanted Paul George over LeBron. But
that would have been a smarter move.
Definitely would have. But I think Hayward's going to be good. I'm not sure if he'll be on the Celtics when he becomes good again in a year or two. I think.
Oh, no, he will be. He's untradeable.
Yeah, that contract is big.
He's making $30 million a year. He is untradeable, so he will be on the team.
But it might be one of those things where in 2 years or next year, after he has a whole summer to, rest and rehab the right way, you guys might be liking the fact that he's still on the team next year, especially if Kyrie's not there.
Good point.
Yeah. So, give injuries a chance. Don't expect an injured player to come back and be what he was right away, and give young players a chance. Let them develop. Let them get coached, like Steve's saying. Let these guys develop because we do throw these people under the bus too much. They're 21 years old. I didn't know anything about life when I was 21. I'm sorry.
No.
So give these guys a chance.
And you weren't near as sheltered. I mean, I think if you look at it, yes, as a whole, to just lose Kyrie Irving with nothing back seems to suck, but for the long-term development of the team, I don't know that that's the case.
Well, you lose Kyrie, and guess what happens? Now you have money to be able to pay these young guys that are going to want to get paid in 2 or 3 years.
Correct. And as you have these guys continue to develop, Jaylen Brown is still developing. Jason Tatum is still developing. Kyrie. Gordon Hayward is still coming back from that injury.
Yeah.
You still have a lot of good players there, and you still have control of a lot of picks. So it's like
You're still
maybe we're better off just building this up with like a Jason Tatum centric future with keeping Al Horford happy.
Yeah.
Than we are with, flat earth Kyrie, and we don't know how he's going to be from day to day to day.
Yeah.
Look, I'm 100% on getting rid of Kyrie off the team for 2 reasons. Number one, there's way too many types of bad leaders to go into, but 2 of the most common is, number one, a leader who was kind of just put there and everybody was told, like, this is your leader now, or he declared himself the leader.
Which I think that's what it was.
Probably he declared himself the leader. Or you have the leader who basically, no matter how good of a leader or bad of a leader he is, the people just don't want to follow him. And
there's no reason this Boston team should not be the best team in the East.
Exactly.
At all.
But there's a reason that these guys don't necessarily want to follow Kyrie. Maybe it's a problem with them with all wanting to be the leader themselves, or, which part of what I think it is, Kyrie was never a good leader at any point.
No, Kyrie.
So
he didn't even have to lead his college team because he played 6 games.
Correct.
Exactly.
And then look at his Cleveland teams.
Before LeBron,
they didn't win a thing.
Right.
He had 2 teams that won the lottery.
Yeah.
Right.
Afterwards with him, before LeBron showed up. Then all of a sudden LeBron shows up and they're in the finals.
Right.
So it's like Kyrie never has led
exactly
anybody. Even at the college, as he said, at the college level, Kyrie didn't lead.
So there's nothing for me to believe that Kyrie is this great leader, and especially when midway through the season he's making comments like, "Oh, I see what LeBron was saying, and I understand LeBron now," and yada yada, whatever he was going off about, basically not wanting to play with LeBron, and then saying he wishes he could play with LeBron again. I mean, there's nothing.
He's going to get his wish.
Yeah, he is. There's nothing to say that Kyrie is a great leader, and if you're in that situation where they're not just following you because they love you, then you got to be putting up James Harden type numbers. You have to be the Michael Jordan of that team to get them to follow you and say, "Look, you're going to follow me because I'm going to put up 30, 40 points a game."
He can't do that.
And make your job. Exactly.
And even Jordan wasn't even a great leader vocally, maybe, in a way, but his play showed and his attitude showed. And that's the problem with these leaders
Plus,
in the NBA
Jordan
right now.
was also a great defender.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the problem with these leaders now. They're not leading by example. LeBron is not leading by example. Kyrie is not leading by example.
Right.
But they think they are.
The Warriors,
Exactly.
they're leading by example because their whole team is good, so you have to play team ball. So when you have a lot of good players, like Celtics should be playing team ball right now. They don't have a dominant player. Kyrie is great. He's not that much more dominant than any other player on his team. He's a great player. I love Kyrie's game. I've always loved him, so I'm not hating on his game at all. But I think right now in his career, he's a better, let's say he goes to New York and can handle, like, you know what? I know deep down I can't be the best player on the team, but I sure can be like the second best or the 1A or the 1B to the 1A. And I think that's where Kyrie would be best. So if he went to New York and played with KD, yeah, they both have bad attitudes, but I think that would be better for him to be the second guy.
But does he know that? See, that's the thing is we're all looking at it from the outside.
I think he might. That's what I'm saying. I think he might deep down.
I'm not
sure if he'll vocalize that, though.
Well, the problem is for somebody that talks so much about leadership and these guys not buying in, he's never shown for a second all the way up to getting away from LeBron, which granted, we can all understand why you would get away from LeBron, but everybody is like, have we seen for a second any accountability for Kyrie Irving at any point?
Right.
He's super popular. Kids love him. His shoes sell like crazy. As far as Kyrie's concerned, he's one of the absolute best players in the league. And guess what? the other top players in the league all swear by him because they know when it comes down to it, he's one of the most unguardable players in the league. His handle is ridiculous. He can get to the bucket. Even though he doesn't go over you, he
get under you, around you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
everything he's able to do, and he can hit shots. So everybody knows how good he is capable of being,
and we'll see. Everything we're saying right now could be thrown in the trash if they go into the playoffs and do what we know they could do talent-wise in the playoffs. And if Kyrie can change up and kind of put that hat on and be like, you know what? Now it's time to really play basketball. It's time to mold as a team, which you kind of have to start showing that before the playoffs start. So now is the time. But we saw Philly do this last year. They went into the playoffs on a 13-game winning streak when it looked like, they're better. They're good now. They're going to be a playoff team.
Right.
And they went in really hot. Boston has the talent to really mess everything we're saying up.
Of course they do.
Yeah,
but
they do.
the problem is, has he lost his teammates?
And that's the possibility.
And we can only talk about what they've been showing us, which don't look good. So, hey, look, LeBron might wake up tomorrow morning like, you know what, we going to the playoffs and look like the LeBron from a couple years ago.
That's
But
and
he could do that talent-wise, but he's already lost his teammates too.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. Like
that's
the
the
odds
thing.
of it happening,
You could
I don't
say
think
that
so.
personally. You could wake up and be like, you know what, I need to change. But if it's already too late, if you've already pissed off everyone you're around,
So you're saying he's looking in the man in the mirror?
he needs to, but he's not going to.
I haven't watched that yet.
I'm not going to watch it.
Oh,
Me neither.
I'm going to, and it's going to make me never listen to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough ever again.
Don't watch it.
I
So
will definitely still listen to all of his music.
I'm going to miss that song.
You'll still watch it.
No.
Isn't it like only two people that?
Two of the many?
Yeah, but there's a lot of people saying like we kicked it with Michael Jackson all the time, and none of this.
Can we just
wasn't
point
even
at
hints.
Corey Feldman as like Exhibit A?
What he said.
Corey Feldman's clearly messed up.
Yeah, but Corey Feldman also is trying to expose all of Hollywood. So if
yeah, I've seen one. I heard that one of the guys in this Michael Jackson thing, obviously, like he's like teeter-tottered on this story like 3 or 4 times, and now all of a sudden he's going with this angle because he's being paid
Because
to
he's
do it.
on
Or
TV
maybe he's
right
being
now.
intimidated.
Yeah, it could be possibly.
I mean, there's a lot of Michael Jackson fans out
it's
there,
so
and
much,
there's a
so
lot of
much
money
is
in his
going on,
estate.
and that's the thing. Like it's so much money, and everything is so like diluted, and the Jacksons are old, and
By the time I see you guys
dying
next
off
week,
now,
I will
like-
watch both parts, and I will give you my full feelings
yeah.
I'm
on
sure
if I can
will,
listen
too.
to Michael Jackson anymore. I mean, R. Kelly's already off the list.
Oh yeah, I ain't listened to R. Kelly since
Yeah, R. Kelly
90-something.
should have been off the list.
I quit listening to him 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
everyone that's
legit.
still like, oh my gosh, I'm not
No.
listening anymore. It's like it's too late.
Yeah.
We've known this since Aaliyah.
R. Kelly
Yeah.
was off the list after what's that reporter's name, like Torre or something, when he had these, and he was like, define underage. It's like,
To find underage.
and the guy's like reaction
That's
like,
horrible.
It's
horrible.
like, really? He's like, I can't
We-
believe you're saying this
we
out loud
gotta
right now.
define
I'm a
this?
reporter. We have a camera. This is going to be played, and you're saying define underage. Okay,
All right, back to sports. I'm putting 100 on Lakers to make the playoffs just because I can win 600. Just taking that chance.
600. You can make one more than that. Westgate is 900.
Oh, is
Wow,
it 900?
ooh.
Yeah, it was yesterday. It
I thought it
was,
was
minus.
6.
Yesterday they were minus 900,
Woo.
Okay. Well,
That's-
and today it's gonna be worse.
it's worth that
Well,
shot.
get it now, because
It's
if
worth
they
that
lose that
shot.
Clippers game, well, actually, if they lose
No,
that
if they-
Clippers
they
game, you
need to
get
win
it.
the
It's gonna be
Clippers.
like minus 1,500.
Yeah. No, if they win the Clippers game, it'll go down a little more. But
Hey.
anyways,
Well,
there's still
you-
a shot.
Also, that Clippers game when Zubac.
That was
you see Zubac's
hilarious.
comments? By the way,
That was
as-
the worst trade they've made.
as a Laker hater, when they gave up Zubac, I was like, oh, thank God. Because he played well against Steven Adams, who was a great post defender, and he was like scoring at will. And I was like, when I saw they're like trading for Mescal, I was like, oh my God, yes.
Zubac,
Yes.
Zubac was became their starting center.
He was the best
I don't
center.
understand that trade. They did it to
He was white.
so is Muscala. They did it to open up a roster spot for nothing because they haven't signed anybody,
Well,
and no one's going to sign there because now they're not even going to make the playoffs.
can we talk about the Carmelo news from today?
They halted talk.
They halted talks because they felt it wasn't for the best if they're not in playoff contention. So even Carmelo's like, I don't know.
Sorry, LeBron. Hit me up next year.
Wow.
Hit me up in the summer.
Hit me up when you want to go to the playoffs, LeBron, because I'm Carmelo, who's never won anything except for in college.
Wow.
But LeBron can lead them there. There it is right there. Lakers, Carmelo, Hot Talks.
Wow.
I will tell you, a news report on the NBA has not made me laugh as much as that one. When I was in the gym earlier today and I saw that and started laughing out loud to the point where I think people were like looking at me like I was a crazy person.
What's wrong with this
Well, you
guy?
are.
True, but I could never explain them. It's like Carmelo even won't go there. Carmelo, nobody wants him,
Wow.
and he doesn't want them.
Oh, man.
That's nuts.
He was on the banana boat.
All right.
With-
And he wasn't.
He was on the banana boat.
Who?
Carmelo.
Look at the boat again.
All right, yeah, he was on the. He was there. He might have taken the
He
picture,
probably took the picture.
which is damning enough. That means that Carmelo was smart enough to know, like, I'm not getting on that thing.
I'm not getting on the boat.
I mean, he got
It
enough
works.
things to ruin his marriage, but not on that banana boat.
Whoa.
All
He
right.
didn't ruin his money.
So according to the internet, the Banana Boat team, aka the Banana Boat crew, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul,
And Gabby.
and
Gabrielle Union.
Carmelo.
No, I'm not talking about
But he
who-
was
I'm not
there,
talking about the
but he
team.
wasn't on the boat.
I'm talking
Gabrielle
about the
Union was
picture.
on the boat.
I'm talking about the banana boat picture. That's been the big mystery. Everyone thinks he was on the boat. It's like that.
No, he wasn't on the boat.
It's like that Sinbad movie that everyone thinks exists because of the internet.
Oh, let me ask
Well.
you. Let me ask you another quick question. Are Dwayne Wade's braids extensions?
Ooh,
Because how did he have enough hair to get those braids?
those could have been braids.
And when you're that old,
That's
do you
good.
want to do braids for the first time?
I don't know, man.
Eh.
I saw him hit that
But at
shot
the
the other
same
day. He can do
time,
whatever he wants.
Do whatever you want with those braids. That shot was amazing.
All right.
And I really hope Miami
was
makes
insane.
the playoffs, even though they're not in it.
Oh,
right
they'll get
now.
rocked.
And Carmelo was not on the boat.
He wasn't on the boat,
No.
but he probably took that
It's
picture.
Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, and LeBron.
Thank you. I told
Yeah.
you that.
Why is it funny that like Pau Gasol couldn't tap Chris Paul on the head, but it feels like everybody else on that could tap him on the head? Wasn't that big of a deal for them.
Hey man,
Yeah.
white privilege has got to stop somewhere.
Wow.
Pau Gasol's Spanish. Does that count?
Hey, yeah.
If-
Look, race is determined by how you look
He's
sitting
from
in your
Spain.
driver's seat when the police pull you over.
Well, there was somebody
So,
hating on
from a distance-
somebody. Was it who? Somebody's girlfriend. Somebody's dating somebody. Is it Joel Embiid dating like a Brazilian model?
He's
And
dating a white girl. And
no,
like,
she's not white though.
well, she's
she's
Brazilian, but
Brazilian, which is
she
not-
looks white.
That's
She looks
not
white.
and they were going crazy.
Oh yeah,
dating a white girl. It's like, first of all, she's not white. Second of all, she's not white. Can we talk about the fact she's not white?
well, no,
Anybody.
that's called.
Yeah.
I can't say it.
Say
I'm
it,
not
say it.
qualified to say it.
Say
I'm
it,
not qualified.
Steve. Steve, say what Dave wants to say.
Nope.
Well,
Let me quote a line from a famous insane person
Kanye.
that
Kanye.
said, "When he get on,
Oh.
he leave your ass for a white girl.
Oh. And he did.
so
Get down, girl.
from the
Go ahead, get
from
down."
the black perspective, most black people would look at her and think, black dude with a white girl. That's what it looks like.
To me, she looks like she got something else in her, though.
When you look,
Well,
that's
she
what I'm
has something
saying.
in her.
Like
Stop.
from until you look at her face, then you realize she's probably.
I mean, what are you
Hispanic
looking
or
at
Latino.
first, Steve? You perv.
I don't know. She looked like
No,
a very
I'm saying,
attractive
like,
girl that
That's what I'm
would
saying.
be
Like,
at the level of a high-level NBA player. So it's like,
yeah. So you don't.
she looked like she was
When
very
I first
pretty,
looked at this
so
picture,
there you
because I've
go.
never seen her till right now, I'm looking at this first picture that I pull up, and this picture here. My first thought, that's a white girl. When I look at it for 10 seconds, I'm like, she's probably not a white girl. She's probably Hispanic, Latina, or something. And then
Can't
you
say
guys saying
Hispanic anymore.
she's Brazilian, whatever. Like, so.
Yeah, but he's not going to make anybody happy
But
unless she's black.
you're also looking at that most of Twitter and most of the internet, these are people from the Midwest, the South, the East Coast, where look, there's black people, white
Vegas.
people, and it ain't a whole bunch. No, there's a lot of people on the coast.
Okay, well, a
who are on
lot
these
of
things,
the
but I'm
comments I
saying-
was seeing were from people in Las Vegas, Nevada, 89101.
Well, hey,
Yes.
they must not have a lot of multicultural friends.
And see,
Oh, no,
Steve,
they're not interested in
Steve, with you
multicultural.
saying
I'm
that right
saying,
now,
like-
they would dog you out
That's totally
and
fine.
they would say it's
like,
because you're light skinned.
because I run them through the dirt.
You are
too.
not Wakanda forever.
Hey, Wakanda goes through these veins, baby. And if you want to fight about it, call in right now.
Dave would take your card.
Yeah. Your card's getting snatched.
Nah.
You should be like
But then in
Lupita
the
Nyong'o or
same-
nothing.
But in the same breath, like, you know, Joel Embiid is technically not a black guy. He's from where's Joel Embiid
Africa?
from? Right. You know what I
No,
mean? Like
that's pretty
the
black.
blackest of
That's
continents.
pretty black.
What country?
He
like,
is Wakanda.
He's not a black.
Cameroon.
He's not a black American. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
he's,
like
he's
so,
from Cameroon. He's
Right.
African.
He's not
So he's
African
from
American.
Cameroon.
He's African.
He's African.
So he's from Cameroon and she's from Brazil. Now, you might can trace her lineage back to somewhere in Europe, but she's in Brazil. So we're going to look at her as she's Brazilian. That's her nationality. But who knows? I mean, her people could be from like Mexico or something. And they moved there 50 years ago. Like, it
Do you
doesn't
think
matter.
that
Like,
Mexico's
it's just-
more legitimate than South America?
No, I'm just saying, like, people
They're gonna
make such
hate
a
him
big
no
deal-
matter what.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people make such a big deal about race. Like what is it? Like, how would the world be so much better if Joel Embiid was with the blackest woman on the face of the planet?
Can
What
I
if
ask
he
you-
got with like a woman
Steve,
from
can I
Cameroon?
ask a real
Like,
question?
Seriously, go.
Here we go. You ready for this one?
I'm
not sure
I
you
hope-
are.
I don't know.
Why
Go.
doesn't Serena get any of this garbage?
Because you know what?
She
It's
doesn't.
a huge
She
double,
doesn't get any of it.
it's a huge double
I've
standard.
definitely heard.
It's a huge double standard because
some.
literally the same week everybody was going at Childish Gambino for having pictures of this woman who was supposed to be his baby mom, who's white or Asian or something.
Uh-huh.
The same week, Meghan Markle
You
or
would have known
Markle,
if she was Asian.
Meghan Markle, she gets married to the freaking Prince of England, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, girl, get it, go." You know, everybody's like supporting her. But when
Get
a black
down, girl.
guy
Go
gets
ahead,
with
get
it,
down.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. But when a black guy gets with a non-black woman, there's a problem, and it's been a double standard like that forever. You see it all the time.
Wow.
But
This is a hot
Again,
topic for
I-
another show.
I don't, I don't judge. I don't care. Like,
yeah, I
you-
mean, I have no basis to
Hey.
talk about any of this, by the way.
I'm black.
Let that be known.
I'm black. My president's black. My wife's black. My kid's black.
Actually, your president's white.
Man, I ain't not no. My
Oh, he
president's
is.
still
He's the
black.
president of the United States.
Unfortunately, our president's orange.
He's orange.
Well, the president is white.
yeah, that's your president.
But
that
my
whole,
president-
That whole he's not. That's
Steve,
so dumb.
my president is
He's
black
the
too.
president of the United States.
My
Me and Dave
president is
got
He's
black
your
also black.
president. He's your
Look.
president.
Once you become president, you are called president for the rest of your life.
It's true.
So my president, the one who I choose to elect as my president, is black. This other
That's
guy,
the dumbest thing I've heard in my life, and everyone that says it is so stupid.
no, that's the law.
I'm
You're
sorry.
he's president for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and your president right now is the orange guy, so he's the president of the United States.
the
and he's
president
still your
of the
president,
United States.
which is your president of
No,
the
my-
United
my
States right
president-
now.
My president.
That's
black
dumb.
guy.
That's dumb.
44. You see that jacket at the Duke game? That was pretty dope.
That was bad.
That was a nice jacket.
That was bad. Donald Trump could pull that off. I'll tell you that
Nah,
right
he
now.
couldn't. Not in a million years.
A jacket with a 44 on it. Leather jacket, no less, like a bomber jacket.
Yeah, that jacket was dope.
It's like, say something.
Swag, son.
I like Obama. I would kick it with him as a person.
I miss him so
But-
much.
Man,
I miss
he's
him
not
so
the
much.
president anymore.
It doesn't mean I can't
he's
miss
always
him.
the
That's
president.
fine. I'm not
Hey,
saying no.
he's
He's
always the
not. He's
president.
not.
his name is President Barack Obama.
It's not his name. It's his title. But
That's-
good.
that's his title. President Barack
That's
Obama.
fine.
I miss
He's the
him.
only president I'm talking about. That's my point. So this other
That's
guy,
fine.
like, yeah, there's a different guy.
Wait,
who
I
is
thought you guys.
technically
I
the
thought you liked
president,
Clinton too.
but-
Didn't you like Clinton? Wasn't Clinton
Which
the first
Clinton?
black president?
No,
Which
I never
Clinton?
said that. I
Oh,
never said
that's,
that.
That's what I heard before.
People
Because
have
I
said that.
because he actually said "Make America Great Again" before Trump, and so did
No.
Ronald Reagan. That someone else everyone liked.
I was like, what?
Yeah, but they
8 or
actually
12
meant
when-
make America great again, not like make America super racist and anybody else can't be a part of it again.
Anyways,
They actually meant it.
out of politics. We're definitely not talking about politics
Yeah.
on the show.
I don't know. Shout out to Joel Embiid. I'm happy for you. He happy, I'm happy. And she's a good looking young lady.
So you're happy if Joel Embiid's happy. I'm happy
Yep.
if he's not happy. I don't care what celebrities do
Yeah.
or say.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
I'm happy.
If you like
Be
it, I
with
love
who
it.
you're
I
gonna
don't-
be with.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter.
Does it matter? That's the problem. Is like all these guys like they catch grief for this, and it's like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the big
And-
deal?
and-
It's like,
and
would
she
you
looks-
would you like Joel Embiid?
And she
if
looks
he
a lot
wasn't
better. And she looks a lot
NBA
better than
superstar Joel
Rihanna.
Embiid?
She looks a lot better than Rihanna, anyways. So
Ooh, hold up.
Rihanna turned him down.
Rihanna,
Rihanna.
overrated. Overrated. One of the most overrated artists
I like her music,
attractive
but-
girls or whatever of all time.
I will
I'll say
agree.
it.
I would definitely agree with that. I don't think she's bad looking, but overrated 100%. 100%.
Rihanna is way overrated.
Business wise, I love what she does, but like looks and singing and all of that, she's way overrated.
Are you happy if she's happy?
I'm happy if anybody's happy.
All right.
I'm looking at the picture right now, smiling. I'm happy.
Wow.
Listen,
she's happy, I'm
Rihanna
happy.
does not need my approval. Rihanna
Nah,
has
100%.
millions and millions of people
Yeah.
who love Rihanna. I think Rihanna's overrated. You know what that means? Less than 0 to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Me saying that Rihanna's overrated, she would just laugh at me like, here's my multi-millions and all the people that are in love with me all over the world. What does it matter what you have to say?
Yeah.
Honky?
Wow. You've made Steve bust out the horse laugh 6 times so far on this show. All right.
It's a heat check. It's a heat
Wow.
check.
If I open up a
I knew
comedy
Honky
club,
would get it.
I'm
Honky would get
paying
it.
Steve to sit in the front row.
Look, man.
No, I know how to
All
make
right,
Steve laugh.
let's get back to some sports.
Because it's,
Because honky is a funny word. And if anybody is offended by honky, you are super racist, by the way. There's no chance.
Oh, I love everyone throwing out the racist. You're racist if this.
No,
You're
if
racist.
you're offended by
No,
honky.
I see every day on social media. You're racist if you believe this.
Hold on.
Shut up. So sick of
If
people.
you're offended by honky or cracker, you are a racist. Hands down. There is no doubt in my mind about that.
Everyone's offended over something, so does it matter? Does
Come on.
Does that make you
How could
racist?
have you
Does
ever
that make
been
you racist? I don't care. I
if
don't care if
somebody
someone
went up
calls
and
me a
said,
cracker
you
or
honky, would you be
No, I
offended?
laugh. I think
exactly.
that word's funny,
It's-
but-
honky is hilarious.
But if someone's offended, they're offended.
How could you be offended
That doesn't
by
make them racist if they're offended.
Oh, 100%.
no,
I
it doesn't
guarantee
make them
you,
racist if they're
they have
offended.
a red Make America Great Again hat. If they
If you have a
they're
Make
offended by
America Great
honky.
Again hat, you're not racist. That doesn't
Oh,
make
no,
you racist.
you are racist.
That's so stupid.
Hands okay.
Anyways, we're not talking about
Fine,
politics.
fine.
Get back
Hold
to
on.
sports.
Find me one
Get back
person
to
you've ever
sports.
met that has that hat that ain't racist.
Okay, I will.
I'll wait
I'll bring him
forever.
to the studio.
Oh yeah, bring him to the
I will.
studio, and I
I will.
guarantee you
That's so dumb.
they got N
That's
words
so
in their
dumb.
history.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb.
That's not so dumb.
Yes, it is.
That's
I
not
know a
remotely
lot
dumb.
of people that aren't racist that voted for Trump. That
All the evangelical Christians who like
not all of them.
he
it's,
like
it's not even all
had
Christians.
an affair on his wife with a porn star, but
Okay.
they're all okay with
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Anyways, we're closing out the show right now because it's so stupid.
That's not stupid.
Okay,
it's
All right.
real thoughts.
We will see you guys next week on Unnamed Sports Show. Love you guys. Peace.